when you're walking around Thailand, for example, see people like they look at you like you're a regular person or whatever, but you have a few who will jump in amazement or just stare at you as if they never saw your kind before. Especially when you start traveling outside any tourist area, right? Of course, not everybody is like that, but you get a few looks like that. Now, in Malaysia, it's a bit different, simply because you have a lot more dark-skinned people here, right? You have your East Indians, your Africans from Africa. You also see African Americans. The hostel I was staying at, there was an African American dude from, I think, Washington, D.C., and he stayed at that hostel for like 9 months or more, teaching English here in Kuala Lumpur. I know I'm mispronouncing that, I always do. So this guy seems to like it. He seems to like it a lot, enough to stay. Even when me and him was outside the Western Union, just sitting down on the steps talking. But it was a cool vibe. Nobody told us to move. Nobody looked at us like we was on nothing, right? And well, this one guy, he didn't tell us to move, but he told us like we were sitting on the steps initially, and we was impeding traffic, right? So he told us to like sit off to the side, right? Of which we did. We just sat there for hours chilling. And you know, like if that was in America, right? It would have been a whole different thing, man. Somebody would have told us to move. Somebody would have told us to like get out the way, or told us that we're not wanted there, you know. So it's a different vibe where people just let things be, and that kind of brings me to that plane crash that happened, Mh370. See, understanding the Malaysian culture, you understand why the Malaysians ain't do nothing and will not do anything, because like here it's all about just like letting things be, and we'll get to important stuff whenever we get to it. You know, we're not gonna make a concerted effort to do it. Like Japanese, from what I hear, they do everything in their power to make sure that service is top notch. Whereas in Malaysia, yeah, they make sure the service is top notch because this is a majority Muslim country. You know, Muslims are real like clean. They're all about cleanliness, right? So as far as that goes, yeah, it's cool. But as far as just doing stuff like making sure building codes are up to par, manager at the hostel I was staying at was telling me that, you know, Malaysians just kind of take a while to do stuff, right? So, you know, when I heard about the plane crash, I'm like, okay, and let's use that analogy, right? So, you know, based on the evidence, right, you can see that it might have been a captain. Based on his deleted flight simulator paths, that he went down there to the southern Indian Ocean, and then coincidentally the plane followed that Indian Ocean. You can just draw the logical conclusion that, okay, he has something to do with it, right? And so even with that damning evidence, what evidence is damning to me, his sister and his family was like, oh, he didn't do anything, he's innocent. But you gotta remember, this is an Asian country. So in Asia, it's all about saving face, saving yourself from embarrassment by all means, no matter what. Even if you're putting your life on the line, even if it will save somebody, nah, you don't want to save face. I've seen it. And I think that's one thing about traveling to this part of the world that we Americans like, is that, you know, the Asians are calm and cool. Like even if you make them mad, they're not gonna snap off like the loud Americans will. Loud Americans will tell you off in front of your face and things of this nature. Asians not so much, and Malaysians not so much, right? And even using that analogy, like I've been to Penang, and Penang to me, like is a party place or whatever, but it's somewhat depressing. I ain't really like it. Alright? But anyway, that's my opinion. Now, like I was saying earlier, it's a lot of East Indians here A lot of dark-skinned people here, so they're used to seeing. African Americans, not so much. There's been plenty of times where desk clerks will ask me, "Are you from the Congo, Nigeria?" A lot of dark-skinned people who look like me, who dress all jiggy. I'm not dressed jiggy right now, but you get what I mean. From Africa. Like, no, I'm from the USA, right? They're surprised, they get happy. Now, unfortunately, the Africans got a bad reputation here. I was reading the other day how, they be on some scammer stuff, right? And there was a bunch of them inside this apartment, but the police raided. When the police raided it, about 50 African dudes came out of nowhere and surrounded the cops, and the cops had to call for backup and all this. And word is they arrested 18 of them. I was scared because I'm like, I don't want them to think I was African, just walking down the street and accuse me of being it. But it doesn't seem like Malaysians really like that per se, right? On some judgment stuff. But yeah, so because of that reputation and because of the drug dealing reputation, whatever, a lot of dark-skinned people not all, but some have a bad name or whatever, right? So keep that in mind. But you got some people who come from countries where they don't like dark-skinned people in general. You know what I'm saying? Your China, your places like this. So when they see you, like for example, I was in McDonald's I was in McDonald's around like 12, and I saw like this African dude waiting to get his food and whatever. And I think it was a Chinese lady standing next to him. She was really getting frustrated, like, and stuff like this, in order to, because she wanted to hurry up and get her stuff. You know what I'm saying? So she was just getting real fed up, just overly fed up. It was almost to the point where she was acting frustrated, right? So you kind of see that as far as the interaction goes. Another thing I want to say is, when it came to me, right, there was several times where I noticed people would low-key lock their doors. Like for example, I'll be walking like this, right? And then I'll be walking up on a car, like this blue Jeep over here, then be like click, click. I remember I was coming out the KK supermarket. I sat down and put my noodles in a cup at this bench in Chinatown. The moment I did that, click, click, this car that was like double parked in the street. So people be locking their doors when they see you type of deal, which I don't like, right? So you get some of that, and I've gotten that probably about 5 times. But overall, generally, it's a cool place. It's not as thirsty as Thailand, where everybody try to get you in a restaurant, their car. Although it does happen, it's calm and cool for the most part. So I'm arrived at my hotel. Talk to y'all later.